Good morning, people of Gaia. The next ending explained video, Deep Dive 5, what actually happened at the altar and why, is just around the corner. And as I mentioned in the last video, it needs to be felt. The tragedy, the heroism, the competing cosmic and very personal forces, the universal perspective versus the mortal. Fundamentally, in addition to piercing all the mysteries, this next ending explained must answer to all of our hearts. Are the tears real? So the heavier analytical stuff will be addressed beforehand in the Preludes. This is Prelude 2. Rebirth's 14th chapter is at many points phantasmogorical, as reality itself cannot be discerned. In Prelude 1, the steps leading up to the altar were explored to give birth to the idea that there are important observations that tell of a markedly different reality than the one we were familiar with and believed we were in, leading up to Aerith's final moments before many in the Beagle timeline would remember her death. It is very important to watch that prelude along with this one, as it provides a cradle of reason for the more nebulous nature of conclusions and meanings to now be drawn. Here in Prelude 2 will be explored just how different things are, much in part due to two Omni beings whose end games are exhibiting seemingly counterintuitive behavior. Their end games give light to why Aerith walked to her death despite desperately wanting to live, and even more desperately to preserve Cloud's sanity. The end games of these Omni beings shed light on why the Insane One sought to murder the innocent flower seller at all, despite wholly being returned to the Beagle timeline, and how her death was so instrumental in his defeat long ago. As the great Steve Jobs famously said, you can only connect the dots looking back. So let's begin. We do not fully know what any Omni being's end game is. Not yet. We don't even know where they begin. But we do have some verbalized guideposts. Saving the planet, saving her friends, and saving Cloud is Aerith's thus far expressed end game. Not ending, Cloud not ending, and defeating destiny are Sephiroth's thus far expressed end game. Reunion, forever, an eternity where all is made whole. Cloud becoming part of the reunion is Genovaroth's thus far expressed end game. Note that for all of these mortals with universal hopes and dreams, Meteor is not the end game itself, nor is stopping Meteor, though Meteor is undoubtedly meteoric to Genovaroth, and thus also for anyone opposing Genovaroth. Even in the original journey, Meteor was just a part, allowing Sephiroth to join with the planet and reach unprecedented levels of godhood. Knowing that Meteor is something that no one can ignore, but also is not the proverbial end game for anyone, helps to navigate what purposes are being served at the City of the Ancients, and for who, as this would mean the critical moment and Aeris' fate align with something bigger picture than Meteor, and this bigger picture gives emotional bedrock for why the two Omni beings with mortal perspectives did what they did leading up to the altar. Answering this why can be addressed in three main ideas. First, for the most part, much of what happened that does not seem to follow a logical, coherent strategy. For instance, sending Zack into the in-between, walking into the Insane One's trap called Dark Singularity. These odd decisions are manifestations of the Omni beings reacting to the other's machinations or other unforeseen obstacles, as well as to the relentless veil called feelings. Even Genovaroth has expressed those. Second, why did Aerith's fate need to be decided, specifically at the altar, and specifically her part to be played, be gone, was death? Why was the Insane One so fixated on this moment from Final Fantasy VII when all versions of him hate destiny? Answer in a single word: reunion. where all worlds merge, they overlap, and all memories become one. One truth, one to be or not to be, for everyone, for everything. The Insane One needed something like the Singularity of Fates at the end of Remake, yet the Singularity of Fates had only some of the elements the Insane God needed. It was a focal point across all of creation, the whole multiverse. We knew this because Zack Fair of the Terrier timeline during the day could look upon the same Whisper Dome as Cloud Strife of the Beagle timeline during the night. It was a focal point, a true singularity, and this Singularity of Fates was a hyperplane with permanent effect. It did force memories to congeal into one unified world, ignoring all limiters like paradox. If Sephiroth wanted to affect both of these memory worlds, he could now do it just once to one reality. Yet, after Singularity, other worlds that did not overlap not only abounded, but were allowed to grow divergent from the destiny of future memory, as the Grey Whispers were no longer around to control and kill people. Also, once the Grey Whispers went extinct, the Singularity of Fates exploded, and the central point across the multiverse was gone. The Insane One needs something that is more permanent. Consider, Gilgamesh is able to make manifest from the unmanifest by force of his will, but this is only so long as his energy remains with the newly manifest, or else a form of death sweeps the land. Whereas Cloud need only touch something or someone touch him, and forevermore that which is touched is manifest. Sephiroth needs a singularity with that level of permanence, and one that is pervasive across all of creation, multiverse come universe. And indeed, evidence of some sort of convergence of memories is observed in Rebirth. Genovaroth becomes one with the one-winged angel. Gravity begins to disappear, and with it linear time. The rainbow of creation pours in and is eaten first by Genova's red energy, a haunting foreshadow, to then turn into dead blackened matter. However, this visceral hyperplane phenomena is not all that the Insane God needs, or else killing Aerith would not have mattered, as this all occurred while Aerith was still alive by everyone's perception, and keeping Miss Gainsborough in her body would have been much more to the Insane God's benefit, as will be explored in a moment. So what is the missing piece? The most fundamental element Genovaroth needs for his reunion is heavy emotion, a tumult of extreme loss, despair, rage, so that reality itself would be dominated by darkness. The memory that he had his eyes set on was one that was pure, absolute, in despair, as well as one that was common across all timeline worlds, unlike the blood trail scene. A future memory that is inevitable, like the end, Meteor, so that all worlds are united in this singularity of agony, each sharing its own overlapping torment. In the original journey, there are two moments of megalithic overwhelming sadness. The fall of the Sector 7 plate, which did permanently brand the memory reality of Gaia, as seen in Cloud's recollection of Zack's tragic last stand. And the other was the tear-drenched hard murder of Aeris Gainsborough. As the Sector 7 plate fell before the chains of fate were broken, Genovaroth had the latter memory in his vision. That moment of extreme despair that is uniform across all timelines, something that was inevitable, as the White Whispers believed, and even as Omni Aeris herself believed. Why, loss, and despair, that will be explored far more in the final deep dive. An opening of the door into Sephiroth's insanity is what Aerith admitted in the Temple of the Ancients. Anger and similar heavy emotions can strengthen a person. However, these emotions will change the person. For this macabre reunion to execute as Genovaroth wanted, by his imperfect understanding of reality, which is still likely superior to everyone else's. Once more must come the memory of Aerith being at the center of great horrid loss, and be so at the infamous altar at the city of the ancients, not somewhere else, or it wouldn't be uniform. And thus the whole multiverse would have a singularity of darkness to unite in, even as the avatar of creation forged meaning for mortals everywhere, for the mortal perspective, with the irresistible force of his will, his love. The Insane One's overall strategy remained unwavering. And then 3, the body problem. This agonizing idea helps understand decision-making leading up to the critical moment more than any other. For Cloud, for heroes, for we the cosmic audience, life is the end game. The people we love are what matter, but for the Omni beings, with their Omni perspective, life as a mortal was the opposite of the part needing to be played. This is because of the body problem, being trapped in a physical form, and all the limiters placed upon grand, universal power as a result. In Lifestream Black, part of the book On the Way to a Smile by Nojima-san, the scenario writer, Sephiroth is dead after the events of Final Fantasy VII. Or rather, he is not in his body anymore, but neither has he rejoined the Lifestream. He manipulates planetary energies and infects countless innocent people, including Cloud, with geostigma. By the cresting of Advent children, it seems that Genovaroth only grew stronger, much stronger, after being removed from his body by Cloud's Omnislash. In Lifestream Black, Sephiroth laments at just how limiting being in a minute mortal form is. This is the body problem that all Omni beings face, and it is an observably insurmountable one if not addressed. In Remake, Omni Aerith was always in the background with her yellow flower petals, as well as conjoining with Remake Aerith to share memories, universal perspective. Her knowledge helped save the heroes from the chains of fate. And most heart-touchingly, after all that Omni Aerith has been through, 27 years later, she was even able to share some of her hopes and dreams and gratitude. In Rebirth, this was all gone. Genovaroth operated without Omni opposition. But consider what happened after the altar, when most of the Beagle timeline remembered a sad tragedy in the city of the ancients. Omni Aerith was a presence to be felt of such ferocity and severity that she earned an immensely rare compliment from the insane god. Likewise, once reunion commenced and memories of Sephiroth and Jenova began to converge as worlds merge, Genovaroth became a truly transcendent being, according to the dev geniuses, meaning he could be in many places at once, in a physical form and outside it, without limit, at will. Genovaroth faced the same immovable obstacle of the body problem, but chose an unnatural, creation-defying route to overcome it. And before his great intelligence and vast awareness, he knew this aberrant, fell, unnatural route also aligned with his true end game, of which godhood is a piece. Genovaroth already faced the wrath of weapons, the White Whispers, and undoubtedly will do so with Gaia's other enforcers. So, choosing something so divergent, bizarro transcendence, that is an affront to all of creation, it did nothing to change his situation. He was already at war. Genovaroth was already the ultimate threat that creation has ever seen. Aerith, on the other hand, is cruelly trapped. Gaia's White Whispers flow from her, with her. They will be instrumental in the coming fight against the insane god, and yet they were willing to attack Cloud and his friends purely due to the conundrum the avatar of creation might present by being at the flower seller's side. And remember, Bahamut, the king of dragons itself, turned on half-Cetra when Shakia fell out of alignment with Gaia. It seems the planet does not bend its rules for anyone. And remember, in Final Fantasy VII, the planet killed every human everywhere, including children, to restore her balance. If Aerith wants to meet the Dark God's whispers with Gaius, if other events offer clue about alignment, she had to follow this arbitrary fate set for her: death. Fortunately, death would also allow her to overcome the crux of the body problem. It would free her to do all that she did in Final Fantasy VII if events should follow familiar footsteps, holding space for Tifa to save Cloud, activating Holy and summoning the might of Gaia to stop Meteor, to save her friends, and to let we, the cosmic audience, know that she's okay despite what happened. Not being trapped in a physical form might even allow her to stave off extinction. The only trade-off is life, her life. As events would quickly demonstrate, Aerith knew what she was doing on the Dream Date, and she knew what she was doing on the Beagle world. She did not like what was about to happen to her, but that is the plight of being a mortal with cosmic power and thus cosmic responsibility. Your hopes and desires don't really matter. Make 'em bloom had another motive to choose sacrifice when she so very much wants to live. Cloud. Note that in all three Omni beings expressed end games is Cloud, the avatar of creation, the cosmic opposite to Sephiroth, he who can make manifest from the unmanifest, he whose will is law, whom Omni beings keep pouring so much energy, knowledge, truth, love, and blessing into, and who is just a man whose sanity is in danger, a man willing to murder to save those he loves, and do so without reservation, without hesitation, and without the influence of Genovaroth. Aerith said that anger does strengthen a person, but it also changes them. She has an extremely enlightened, wizened awareness for all that she does, including not allowing anyone to save her. Cloud is a component of the end game for every Omni being. Cloud, not Aerith's life. Her life, like her death, her unfair cosmic fate, was a part to be played, but it was one that she chose to play for her friends, for everyone she loves, for everyone she could love for the next 500 years. Her free will, her love. Make 'em bloom is not omniscient. She could not have ever imagined Cloud's raw strength now, but she does know that that power could flip either way, as is already being hinted. Wildcard or no wildcard, Aerith Gainsborough knew what she was doing more than anyone. As she walked to the Citadel, she must set aside all of her dreams and all of her temptations of what having the avatar of creation fighting alongside her might mean, so that she could meet with her unjust, unfair 27-year rendezvous alone.